So in this Assassin's Creed Shadows video, I'm going to be going over my unkillable Parry God build for Yasuke. This is a build that can be utilized fairly early in the game and scales all the way into the late game as you acquire more components to actually make this build even more powerful. That's actually one of the reasons I created this build for players looking for a long-lasting, powerful setup. We take advantage of the Protector's Armor, which allows you to parry every single attack in the game, including unblockables. Thanks to a combination of pieces in this build, the setup synergizes extremely well with parrying, providing insane damage and some strong health sustain, so even if you somehow miss your parry, you're able to recover extremely quickly. This build is perfect for those who want a tanky setup that deliver high damage, and of course at the end of the video I'm going to be showing you how the build performs at the highest of difficulty. With that said, let me show you how to make this build. Alright, so now that we understand the build, let's go over the parts and how to make it work, and then of course at the end we'll go have a little bit of a showcase. So first things first, let's go over the weapon. So what we're going to be using is the Myth Slayer. Now I want to be very clear, for this part as well as multiple parts of this build, you do not need both engravings to make this build work. The sword in itself is not the most important part. Honestly, nothing about the sword is that important. You can actually just swap in whatever you want for the sword, but we're going to be using the Myth Slayer if you get to this point. And what this does is the combo enders are postured and make enemies vulnerable, and when you make an enemy vulnerable you can do like a weak point strike, and that does a lot of extra damage, so it's really beneficial. We also have that successful parries push nearby enemies back, and you're going to be in the fray a lot, and having the ability to push enemies back is going to be valuable. And the great thing about this second engraving is it's actually pretty easy to get. It comes from the Zephyr katana or something. I'm going to show you where you can find these, but for the most part, whatever weapon you use is fine. None of the engravings is that important, though Myth Slayer specifically does have a really solid engraving. Like, it's super good in itself, but you don't need it, is what I'm trying to get at. So this is where we are right now, here at the hideout. And then right here at Eagle's Nest, there's a little shrine here, and then there's a little lake here where my little cursor is, and there will just be a chest just sitting there that will have the long sword, the long katana. You can literally use this in place of this weapon that I have here for pretty much most of the game if you wanted to. But yeah, it'll be right there in the little chest. Alright, so I obviously already beat the MSQ, and I'm going to do my best to block out all the characters because I'm releasing this like day after launch. But the person who's located here on the tree is a person that's going to give you the Myth Slayer. So this person here is going to be that you need to do their specific quest. Whenever you unlock them, go do their quest. You can get the Myth Slayer and use it for this build if you want the full, complete, powerful version of the build. I love making builds, but I do want to make sure I preserve the gameplay for you guys. So yeah, but yeah, whoever the person is, make sure you go kill them because that's going to be the person that gives you the sword. Alright, next we're going to be using the Protector's Helmet, and this one's actually a pretty early game one. I think I got this at level like 16 or something. It's a really early game. And what this does is it's going to give you the ability to deal 50% of the parry damage back to enemies. So you're going to be parrying a lot because this is a parry-focused build, and then you automatically perform a weak point attack on a successful parry. So this is like a double, like a super wombo combo basically. They hit you, you parry it, they take damage, enemies around get knocked back, and then you instantly go into a weak point attack and you just get massive amounts of damage. And if you have Myth Slayer, you're going to have even more vulnerability, and vulnerability you can do a weak point attack with it, and they're postured, and it just like synergizes super well. So no matter what you're doing, you're going to just do a ton of weak point attacks with this build. Anyway, where would you get the Protector's Helmet? Alright, this is the major base here where we start. The major city of Kaito here, and then over here up to the top right, Hanzano Castle. This is where you're going to get it. Just make sure you clear the area. There's a handful of enemies in here. I believe there's like 3 samurai in here, and then you go to the chest, the usual stuff, and you'll get it in here super easy. In order to get the weak point one, you're going to need to get this item here, the extravagant headgear. I put it on both because you can swap the engravings, but you need to get this one as a base to put it on that other helmet basically. And this one doesn't require any fighting of any sort, which is really nice. Now, where do we need to find this? And keep in mind, this is a level 35 area. You don't need to necessarily fight anything, but you do need to come over here to get it. Come over here, get the engraving. You're going to come to Tamba, sorry. And then this little Narataki Falls. There's a waterfall here. And behind the waterfall, you'll see it. Like, you can't miss it. I don't know if I have footage of it. but it'll be behind the waterfall there, so make sure you go pick that up. Next we have the Protector's Armor. What this does is you can parry unblockable attacks, and this is, in my opinion, one of the most broken things you can get in the entire game. This is just gonna make every attack not really do anything to you, since you can just straight up parry them, so you're always able to proc your other mini effects that's parry related. So where can we find the Protector's Armor? So once again, starting from the hideout, you're just gonna make your way over here to Kyoto. I think you guys usually get here pretty early, and then just comes to Nayo's palace and just do Nayo's palace. It's pretty much the same thing you've done. Kill a few samurai, go to the top of the castle, get the chest, and yeah, you have this armor. Super easy to get, and I believe this is like a level like 16 or something, so super early to get. Next, we're going to be getting the restore 10% health on next hit after a parry. If you're playing on a difficulty lower than expert, you may not need this because your sustain is insane. On expert, you could use this if you're not necessarily like if you're taking a lot of damage, you're getting hit a lot and you just want to trade, you could in theory get this, but this one's a little bit more interchangeable, not as important as the actual Protector's Armor itself. It just has insane synergy since you're going to be parrying anyway, but as you can probably tell, restores 10% of your health on your next hit after a parry, and if you look at our health, we have 7,700 HP, so that's like 774 HP per parry. Like, that's a lot of HP sustained, so that's what it is, but make sure you swap based on what works for you. In order to get this though, in order to get the parry, you need to get the Defense Master clothing, and in order to find it, you need to come to Himajai Castle here, over in Arama location, and this is pretty much all the footage you've been watching in this video has been from this location here, so come clear this place. Again, it's not as important as the Protector's Armor itself. That's the most important piece. The second one is just like extra benefit. So pretty much most of this build, you can start getting it off the ground the moment you start playing the game. Like, it's like level 15 most of this stuff. Like, it's super easy to get. And finally, for our amulet, we're going to be getting Howl of the Dragon. Now, there's two things that's super important on this. First, Howl of the Dragon is going to be a story-based item drop that you get. So this is going to require you to progress Yasuke's story. This is not that important. Like I say in every one of these pieces, it's not important that you have the Howl of the Dragon. This is just complementary to the build, seeing that you're going to deal some pretty good damage. It does have crit and crit damage built into the amulet itself, but many others do that. The 2% crit damage per point in Longsword Mastery is going to be a luxury, and obviously you're going to scale this build later. That's kind of the purpose of this build, something you can use early that you can scale into late game. So obviously Howl of the Dragon would be ideal, but you may not be able to get that, and that's completely fine. This piece overall isn't as important to the build, it's just a luxury item to make it so that you can take it to the end game if you decide to do so. Now the second engraving, on the other hand, this is something you can immediately go get if you wanted to, because it has 0 combat implications to get it. And what this does is it gives you 15% stats with only a long katana equipped, and that's why we don't have a secondary weapon here, because we want that 15% stats, and that's why our stats are so impressively high. We have so much attack, we have so much HP because we're just stacking extra stats with this build, and all our gears are upgraded and stuff like that. So you know, we're super tanky because stats is what this build is very good at. And this is going to require you to get the headhunter. So I know you see the levels really high, but again, you can literally go get this at any time. It's in a cave, but you need to go with Nawe because she's the only one that can squeeze in. Once again, starting from the hideout over here in Harama, I believe it's pronounced, there is the Blackstone Cascades, and within this little area here, there's a secret waterfall you can go into, and just you'll probably see it on screen. Just go to the little cave. It's very small, and you just climb up, and there's like a little chest there that will give you the item. It's very straightforward and easy. I believe there's a unique boss that may be in the zone, so you may want to avoid him, which shouldn't be that hard for you. But yeah, just run past it and go and get this item. But that's pretty much all the pieces of the gear. It's pretty straightforward. Most, if not all, that you can get relatively early. And if you want to take the build to the next level, you're just going to put the extra engravings that we have on it to really make it better. Alright, let's go over to the mastery, and we're going to start with the Lone Katana tree. So for the Lone Katana tree, every point that you have in the Lone Katana will give you more damage. So generally speaking, you're going to want to fill out the entire tree, even if you're not using some of these things. But we're going to talk about priority. When it comes to priority in terms of skills, Payback is massive. I think this is one of the best abilities, and it restores your HP, and as you get more points into it, it deals more damage, and it can be blocked or parried. So Payback as a whole is going to be your primary damage dealing skill, and something you definitely want to max out as much as possible. Next is going to be your Power Dash. I mean, you're going to probably grab both, because you're going to have Power Dash passively, and I think you may have Payback passively. I'm not sure, I don't recall. But these are going to be your bread and butter skills for the most part. And you're going to make sure you get everything in these two trees. On the left here, you're going to prioritize getting every one of these passives whenever they become available. And when it comes down to it, I don't use riposte or anything over here. So this will be something you may get later, technically, because you're going to have less points if you're earlier in the game. So priority is the skills that we talked about in the passives, and then these will be later. And I don't use this at all, but I'm only getting it so I can get the Long Katana Mastery for the passive bonuses. But that's how you're going to do Long Katana. Over to the Samurai tree, because this is going to be your second priority tree. You're going to be picking up War Kick as your primary ability, because this is going to give you a lot of spacing that you may need early on. And then you want Heavy Impact, and whenever you can get Defensive Breach, you're going to eventually get that. Later, if you want to, you can get Samurai Stand. This is just going to give you way more damage output. I don't think you need it, but this could be an option. When it comes to heavy priorities on anything here, getting the Vigor is #1 priority. This is super big. You'll have more adrenaline, and early on you're capable of just spamming skills constantly. So Vigor is super important. Of course, get all the passives, especially this one. Regeneration is going to help you sustain. And then pretty much anything else is luxury. Brutal Assassination's okay for the most part. It just helps you pick off a target, but Yusuke's big, so most of the time he's going to be seen. But yeah, that's the priorities. Just make sure you just get Vigor. This is super big. For literally everything else, this is luxury. Just make sure you get all these passives, because they do some good stuff. Same for this one. Damage reduction, increase damage with abilities, combo enders, which you're going to be doing, get that. For the bow, you're only going to be getting critical damage in this tree. And for the tempo tree, very similar, you're only going to get the armor damage in this tree. For the most part, this passive tree is straightforward. You're maxing Long Katana stuff, you're maxing Samurai stuff, and you're grabbing passives. That's pretty much it. But yeah, that is all the parts of the build. At the end, of course, I'm going to show you some gameplay on the highest of difficulty, so you have a better understanding of how the build performs. If you have any suggestions or builds or anything you'd like to see next, I will be doing a ton of different builds since I have most of the items in the game already. And we can make something a little bit more tailored to you guys' playstyle, upvote the ones you like to see. And yeah, leave me a like, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video very soon. Enjoy the gameplay. Alright guys, as we do, we're going to put everything on max difficulty, with everything, set to the hardest we possibly can. And we're going to put the build in action, and we're going to assault this castle here, Nagahama's Castle Expert, just so you have a better idea of how the build performs. Alright guys, so as you come to expect, we're going to be putting it on the highest difficulties with everything as humanly hard as possible, and I'm just going to show you how the build performs in action. Just so you have a better idea of how, how it's going to play. I did kill some guards because I forgot to turn on recording, but I could have actually assassinated this guy. You see, so far so good, nothing too strong. We're just going to run it at him for the most part. And the beauty of this build is it's very strong in terms of damage output. And then you get a lot of postured attacks. Your HP is insanely high, and you have pretty insane sustain from the parrying thing that we have. And then we get the extra weak point attacks after a parry, so it just makes us really hard to take down for the most part. Do we get resources while we're here? But we'll grab resources. No, they're low resources. Screw that. This is a castle, y'all got nothing. Not that it's that important, but still. Just giving them some mobility is always good. This is just a classic katana build, but really pushed to its limits in terms of defense and utility. Wish it was a higher level zone, but this is about as strong as any enemies are gonna get, as far as I can tell. Yeah, let's go look for some diamos. There's one there. Climbing's gonna be a little hard with him, but I think they're the angels here. There should be a samurai somewhere around here. Here he is. Oh, I'm getting spammed like crazy. But we gotta get sustained despite everything destroying us. That's the beauty of the build, even on the highest of difficulty, even when things are doing egregious amounts of damage to us. We can still sustain. It's turning dark quick.
Your legend ends today.
Bro, what are you doing? Rolling.
Fight me.
Oh my god, it is so dark in here. May have to turn the brightness up. Am I the only one that sees how dark this game gets? So incredibly dark. One there. I'm assuming that's another one there. There should be another samurai somewhere. We killed one, so he's right there. Alright, let's get to him. Okay, not that way. Well, that's the only problem with Yasuke. He sucks at traversal of the world, but he will bulldoze everyone, so that's something. That's not too bad.
Hey, I am here.
I am him. Nice little gap closing. He's vulnerable. Get the vulnerable attack. Oh, put that out. Easy parry, HP. And, I mean, they die so easy with this build. They're actually just so easy to kill with this build. This is my parry. Stop kicking me. Edge. It's just so tanky too, because I have like I don't know if I said this in the build, but I have 7,700 HP. Like, you have so much health that, like, even if something did hit you, it doesn't matter because you have so much HP. And seeing that you get percent HP regeneration on kills and on parry, like attacks after parry, your health sustain is just insane. While also having decent mobility in fights and, you know, just all around just a cool skill set. If you're skillful, you punish on your parries, you make them vulnerable constantly. And just a parry like that will kill literally almost every character. I guess he's at the top. Oh, no animation. Right into a combo finisher. I feel like there's two samurai in there. I'm not getting a ping on the second one. Guess we'll just go there. Jump, you fuck! Am I the only one that hate the controls in this game sometimes? Cooldown is so good on that ability for gap close. Alright, let's go ahead and finish this off. I wonder what that one is. I don't think there's two Dynamo samurai left. That has to be the last one there. If not, we'll cut to it where they actually are. I want to make this video too long. I actually may have to increase the brightness. It's so dark in here. I'm gonna increase the brightness. It's so dark in here. Sorry guys. Breaking up the flow of the showcase, but video, image calibration. Like I literally can't see. That's better. Oh, there's the samurai. They're all piling in. I may have found him over here. Yeah, here he is. This guy's ruining. Now the Guardians are gonna come. Which is not too bad. I can show off some of the Guardian fight, I guess. Guardians are much stronger, so be a slightly more challenge, I guess. I doubt it though. You looking at, little bro? You have plenty of adrenaline sustain with this build. Alright, let's kill this guy here. Then get our loot, man. Unless I find some guardians, we'll look at more footage, but... What's up, little bro? Fight me.
What will I fight? Let us get you.
Oh, he's only 3 pips. That combo is so broken, because, like, no matter what I do, you're always going to get a combo finisher, weak point attack on a parry. No matter what, you're always going to just take, like, his whole entire shield instantly, the moment you parry. Followed by getting health back. Alright, so we're in the castle now. We're just going to fight our way to the top, I guess, and then this will be pretty much the end of the video. Like this item, I'm pretty sure you couldn't see this before as a blue thing in the preview. How do we get to the top? Bro, I literally can't see. Love how my combo ender makes him vulnerable and is postured. That is such a good good item. You guys have no clue how, I mean, you probably do if you guys have been playing for a little bit, but man, the fact that it postures and vulnerables just for simply doing a combo enter is kind of crazy to me. I think that's really overtuned. Oh my god. Stop running into things. Double up. Please. Alright, and I think this is the chest. We have a Mashamushi snake robes and a corpse poison trap. Ooh, poison engraving. That could be really nice for my upcoming build. Some people want me to do a days build, so that's probably what we're gonna do next from this Noah.
I'll cut you down. They're up above.
There should be a ladder to the top. Or
They went outside. I'll cut you down.
bro, shut up. Here we go. And just like that, we have taken Nagahama's castle. Anyway, thank you so much guys for watching, stopping by, checking out the video. Leave me a like, subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see next. I have a lot of the items and I can put together a lot of different styles and builds, so let me know. I'll see you in the next one very soon. Later.